The Belstaff Roberts 2.0 is one of the first new items from the upcoming Belstaff 2020 collection to land here at Urban Rider, and we're really pleased to see it because it represents one of the best Belstaff jackets they have ever done, which is quite a statement. But really what this does is it just follows from what the Roberts should have been, and as a concept it was always really strong, fundamentally taking the style points from their best-selling iconic Belstaff Mojave Brooklands jacket, which is their shortcut worn by Steve McQueen. You've probably seen it and are familiar with it already. But the vintage quilted detailings on the elbows and sleeves on that jacket make it look just a little bit more classic and a little bit less modern. And I think the Roberts doing away with that and having some slightly different lines across those sections makes it a nicer blend of retro and modern for me, and something that appeals to me slightly more. The original version of the jacket was actually really popular, but it just had a couple of points about it that were slightly frustrating. It was released in what was supposed to be a brown and a green, but it was basically a light and a dark green. And so we now have a black, which is always the most popular colorway, regardless of what jacket we offer people. So it's great to see that, but the actual fabric itself has improved somewhat. So last year saw the introduction of CE approved wax cotton from Belstaff, which was a really big leap forward. But one of the things that we noted about the Roberts particularly was it had quite a waxy feel to the jacket's finish itself, which wasn't ideal because really you want it to have the wax cotton look, but you don't want to get stickiness all over your fingers every time you handle the jacket. So that's been completely done away with, and they've described this season's 2.0 version of the Roberts as having a TekWax British Millerain matte finish, and it's that matte finish that really makes the difference. It's a little bit less glossy. I think it looks even more premium and refined, and it doesn't have that feel and that finish to it, but it retains the same abrasion resistance qualities, and I think it just looks stunning. So in the black it really does it justice, the lines being quite subtle but working really neatly to make this a really striking shortcut jacket that I think is going to be of an appeal in terms of style point to most riders out there. In this jacket it can be used pretty much in all riding conditions. It's a shortcut, but it's relatively versatile by virtue of the fact that it has a Myporex seam-sealed waterproof and breathable membrane sat beneath this outer cotton layer. So that means even if the cotton itself saturates, the water cannot get through any further, and it's blocked by this very high quality membrane that Belstaff have worked with for years. Equally, in terms of warmer or more humid days and getting that excess moisture your body gives off, that can be channeled out really nicely because it's a breathable membrane too. So it works really well. And the weight of the jacket at 8 ounces retains that lovely balance where it's something you can wear on the bike with assurance and protection, of course, but also off the bike, being light enough to actually make it something you could wear as a fashion jacket in its own right as well. And that's a big draw for people with the Belstaff brand and with the style that these wonderful jackets actually offer people. So coming in the black in the 2.0, this is the only color variant we have for this season. But otherwise, apart from that, the features you will be largely familiar with. One point to note is the sizing. If you had the previous version, just to say this has gone up half a size, which actually makes it correct, if you like, according to what it really should have been. The large in the Roberts we have designated as fitting a 41 and a 42-inch chest. I'm 6'2" with a 42-inch chest or just under, and I think you'll agree the fit there looks quite nice. So it's something that doesn't have any excess fabric, particularly in terms of being too large in any one area. It's nice and tailored, but equally there are no tight spots at all. I can really easily flex into various positions for the bike without any restriction also. Check the size guide at urbanrider.co.uk. We always have all the sizes of all the different options in the range and their external measurements, so you can be sure to get this right first time if you don't get the chance to get up and close with the jacket prior to purchasing. So in terms of the features, you've got storage on the front with these 2 overlay flaps with the brass vintage snappers, which are nice and spring-loaded, so they're really easy to operate with Belstaff engraved into them. You have this sturdy roll bar zipper as well, which is a lovely style point too, and the lower snap itself has actually got a rubberized coating to protect it from scratching or harming your tank in any way. You've got metal breathers under the arm and also on the lower sections around the waist. You have a couple of different adjustment options around the waist, cuffs and collar too, and the cuffs and collars are corduroy lined to make them nice and comfortable, so you can do them up nice and tight too. Extra padded sections across the shoulders and elbows with this horizontal stitching as well, I think looking really, really nice. The piping across the front here echoing the style design of the slider jacket, which is the leather version. So if you do like what you see here, there is a leather version if you like this design, and that's a really great jacket as well. In terms of the branding, we've already mentioned the Belstaff being engraved into those snappers, but we also have patches as well on the front pocket and also on the left sleeve. And for me, Belstaff's one of the brands where I slightly contradict myself by saying I'm actually okay with the branding on it. I love the logo, but also it's a premium brand, so there's going to be a nature of wanting to shout about it a little bit, surely. The central zipper, easy to operate. There's this slight overlay flap that runs underneath it to prevent excess air from getting through and water by being channeled back on itself, this particular overlay piece is going to get channeled down there rather than making its way through onto the inside. It's not going to be the most water resistant zip you've ever seen. There are better jackets for that, but this is going to be something that will still keep, you know, the majority of water out by virtue of that storm flap, but on the underside of the zip in this case. As I mentioned, no removable inner lining, but the weight of this really lending itself well to mid-season riding. So we've had some pretty average temperatures here in the UK of around about 10 to 12 degrees, even in December, which is generally what we get the whole time. The nice snowy Christmas never happens. So in terms of the suitability of this jacket, realistically, it's going to be suitable for vast majorities of the year. The very, very cold days that we occasionally get and the very, very hot days are probably out of the question, but for everything else, which is 90-something% of the time, you'll be absolutely fine. The lovely Belstaff check lining on the inside is there as always, and we have this vertically accessed YKK zip storage pocket for your most valuable valuables on the inside too. So in stock and available now, and a jacket that I just absolutely love. I think that they've got all the revisions spot on, and I hope that you guys will agree. But do let us know your thoughts, comments and feedback in the section below, and do subscribe to our channel as always to be the first to find out about the world's finest motorcycle gear. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again soon. Goodbye.